And we are back. Welcome to my preview and predictions for the opening games in Matchday 9 of the European qualifiers for the World Cup. This is the final international break of the year. It's the last international break of this season up until March. But as always, with every single international break, I am going to be posting daily on this channel covering all of the matches that will be taking place on the following night football. So today's video is going to be covering all of tomorrow's matches. Tomorrow's video is going to be covering all of Friday's matches, and so on and so on and so on until the international break is over. And it will be the last one for several months. So as always, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video. If you enjoy all of my previews and predictions, share it with a friend to get as many people involved in this World Cup qualifiers as possible. Obviously, we'll be covering the main tournament when we get there as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here with notifications turned on so don't miss out on any of the daily uploads we've got for you this week. And if you want to gain access to even more previews and predictions from myself, including, of course, all 5 major leagues once club football returns in a couple of weeks' time, hit the join button to become a member of the channel. As for today, though, these are the fixtures that we are going to be talking about. These are the 8 games taking place tomorrow in the European Championships. And throughout the entirety of this week, we've got some huge matches as teams try and scrap and claw their way to either an automatic spot or a player spot for this World Cup coming up in a few months' time. And what we always do when it comes to this stage of any sort of group phase, league phase, anything like that, we always start with the league tables for each group. So without any further ado, let's get started with Group D, where you'll be able to see right here, right now, we have Azerbaijan, Iceland, Ukraine, and France, where essentially Azerbaijan are already out. It is mathematically possible for them to still get the playoff spot, but there are just so many things that have to go in their favour that it's just ridiculously unlikely to happen. So basically Azerbaijan are out. For Iceland or Ukraine, this is where it gets really interesting. Iceland playing first, which means if they win, they'll be on 7 points and Ukraine will be on 7 points going into the France versus Ukraine game later on the same night. And then to make things even more interesting, Ukraine and Iceland play each other in the final match day next week. So if we go off the assumptions that Iceland are going to win and France are going to win, which I think is what most people are going to predict, that means the final game in a few days' time between Iceland and Ukraine is going to be a decider as to which team gets into the playoffs. That being said, France by no means safe yet at all. If Ukraine beat France, then that means they will also be on 10 points going into the final game. But again, France's final game is against Azerbaijan, so you would expect France to come out on top overall. As for the actual fixtures we've got in Group D here, we will start off with the early kickoff, which is, of course, Azerbaijan and Ukraine. And as you can see, Azerbaijan only 1 point from their matches so far in this group. However, that 1 point did come in their only home game so far in this league phase, where they did draw with Ukraine. And to be fair to them, they only lost 2-1 away to Ukraine last time out. For Iceland, though, it is a real opportunity for them, as they were able to get a 2-2 draw with France in the previous match day, which has meant that they've managed to get themselves up to 4 points here, meaning that a victory will still give them that chance going into that final crucial game against Ukraine next week. In terms of the team news, there are no injury or suspension concerns for the home side. However, there is a big injury for Iceland, who lost their striker Magnusson in that game against France last month, and it looks like he could be out for the entirety of the season and potentially the World Cup itself should Iceland manage to get themselves there in a few months' time. Big loss for them. As we've already mentioned, the reverse fixture was a 5-0 victory to Iceland, so I don't think it's going to be as severe this time around, but with Azerbaijan basically already out and Iceland desperate to get the win here, I think any result other than an Iceland win would be a surprise. I'm starting today's video with a 2-0 win to Iceland. As for the France and Ukraine game, I think France are probably paying the price for over-rotating in their previous fixture. They were, of course, expected to beat Iceland in that match, but Deschamps basically changed his entire starting lineup and it ended being a 2-2 draw. And I think the more recognisable, I mean, most of the French squad is recognisable anyway, but the usual suspects will be back in the starting lineup for France for this one. Few players that will be out for them though: Chouameni, Desiree Doué, Kolo Muani, and of course Ballon d'Or winner Ousmane Dembele are still all out, but the likes of Mbappe are expected to start once again for the national side. As for Ukraine, their captain Alexander Zinchenko is going to be out of this one, as well as Roma striker Dovbyk coming into this one. So Big players missing for Ukraine, but to their credit, they come into this 3 games unbeaten, winning their previous 2. However, as you can see, there is an L on their column for their opening match of this group, and that was the reverse fixture against France, where they did lose at home 2-0. Ultimately, again, we expect France to get the victory here. A victory for them will guarantee them a spot at the World Cup next summer, and I think in front of their home fans, they will be expected to do so. Realistically, this should be another strong French win, and I'm going for a 3-0 victory to France. From Group D, we move on to Group F, and this is the situation in Group F. It is very finely poised here. Portugal, relatively good spot. They are on 10 points, but it's all about the race for second place with all of Hungary, Ireland, and Armenia all in the hunt. Coming into this, Armenia have actually failed to even score in their last 2 matches. However, both of those matches were away from home, and as you can see, they do have 3 points on the board, and that was on their previous home match, and that was against Ireland a few months ago. Hungary coming into this, they're going to be very happy with the state of play. They were able to get a 2-2 draw with Portugal last time out, which has put them onto 5 points coming into these final 2 games, and their final 2 games are against the sides below them in Ireland and Armenia, and they know that if they get a good result in this fixture here, they could be a guaranteed playoff spot come the end of tomorrow night, because a victory for them over Armenia puts them into 8 points, eliminates Armenia immediately, and of course with Ireland playing Portugal in the later kickoff, it means that if Ireland don't get the result against Portugal, Ireland are also going to be out. So a real opportunity here for Hungary to get themselves at least a playoff spot with a victory in this match here. In terms of the team news coming into this one for Armenia, they're going to be without their captain, Beres Barsegayan. I've probably butchered that, and I do apologise, but he is going to be suspended following a straight red card in the game against Ireland last month, where he decided to straight up headbutt one of the Irish players. So, you know, great leadership from the captain of Armenia there. He is going to be out of this game. For Hungary, I couldn't see any injury or suspension concerns at all for them. So given the form that they're in, and given the fact that they have no fresh injury concerns, they are in a very good spot coming into this fixture. The reverse fixture was just last month, and when they played in Hungary, it was a 2-0 win to the Hungarians. Ultimately, I do fancy them to get the victory again here. I do think Armenia have a chance. Obviously, a victory for them puts them above Hungary going into their final game. So there is still a chance for them as well. But I do think the Hungarians are just about going to edge this one out. And I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Hungary. Other game in this group, well, Ireland can take some confidence coming into this match. They did, of course, win their previous game, which was against Armenia, winning it 1-0. Not only that, but all 4 of their points so far in this group have come at home. And, of course, Portugal could only manage that draw against Hungary at home last time out. So there are a lot of positives for Ireland coming into this. There's also a lot of positives for Portugal coming into this as well. Yes, they did drop points at home to Hungary last time out, but they're on a 7-game unbeaten run, including their victory in the Nations League a few months ago. Also, they did beat Ireland in the reverse fixture, but to be fair to the Irish, that was only a 1-0 win for Portugal last time out. And again, now at home, they're going to fancy themselves to have a better chance here as well. That being said, the Irish do have a few players out. Malumbi and Manning are both suspended. They both started the previous fixture for Ireland. They are both suspended due to accumulation of yellow cards. But Bruno Fernandes is also out for Portugal, also for an accumulation of yellow cards. There really is an opportunity for Ireland here, and I do think they are capable of getting a result. Naturally, if Hungary get the win over Armenia earlier in the night, they're going to need to get that result going into the crucial fixture against Hungary in the final group stage match. Ultimately, though, I still think Portugal will have too much for them, and I still think Portugal are going to come out on top. I'm going to go for the exact same scoreline it was last month, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Portugal. Now on to Group I, where basically it is just a straight shootout between the top 2 in this group. Norway, 6 games, 6 wins, 18 points. Italy, 6 games, 5 wins, 15 points. And coming into this, both Norway and Italy are both playing against sides who are basically playing for nothing. Already eliminated Estonia and Moldova respectively. And coming into this, both Norway and Italy have already won their respective reverse fixtures against these sides as well. Realistically, this really shouldn't be too much of a long prediction for either of these fixtures. For Norway, they face an Estonia side who have actually managed to accumulate 4 points in this group so far, but all 4 of those points have come against Moldova. This really shouldn't be a contest. On this ground last month, Norway beat Israel 5-0. One of the other teams that at the time were competing for a playoff spot, if not an automatic qualification spot, and they beat them 5-0. On paper, Estonia not even close to as good as what Israel are. In fact, Estonia lost to Israel quite comfortably a few weeks ago as well. So realistically, nothing but a Norway victory here. In terms of the team news, we do know that a few of Norway's players are absent, most notably, of course, Martin Ødegaard. And with the massive group decider against Italy coming in a few days' time, I think it should be considered that Norway will rotate some of their key players. Do they risk an Erling Haaland in a game like this, where they're going to need him for the Italy game? I'm not so sure, but we shall see. For Estonia, no fresh concerns for them coming into this. However, I just don't think they're going to have much of a chance in this one whatsoever. To be fair, the reverse fixture in Estonia was only a 1-0 win to Norway, but considering that they're averaging 4.8 goals a game in this group, and they just put 5 past Israel, it wouldn't surprise me to see them put 5 past Estonia as well. So I'm going for a 5-0 win to the Norwegians. As for the Moldova-Italy game, well, at least Moldova can take some joy out of their previous fixture, getting a point away at Estonia last time out. Whereas for Italy, it is 5 straight wins in a row following their defeat to Norway on match day 1. But a convincing 3-0 win against Israel last time out puts them in this very strong position coming into this game against Moldova, where, again, realistically, this should only be an Italian victory here. It was only a 2-0 victory for them in the reverse fixture. However, that was Spalletti's last game in charge, and since Gattuso's taken over, we do know Italy have been a lot more expansive. They've been creating a lot more chances, and they have been scoring a lot more goals. In terms of the team news, though, Nicolo Barella is actually suspended for Italy coming into this one. However, if you were going to handpick a fixture for him to miss, it would be this one rather than that crucial game against Norway next week. As for the away side, no fresh concerns for them coming into this one either. I just think this is a very easy Italian win. They do need the victory, otherwise they are going to be too far behind Norway going into that final group game. I'm going for a 3-0 win to the Italian side. And then finally, we have Group K, where it's all to play for in the race for second place, because England have actually already qualified for the World Cup after their 6 wins out of 6 so far. But it's all about Albania and Serbia coming into these final 2 matches. For Latvia, they are already out. They only have 1 game left. They cannot catch Albania and Serbia. But there is a massive, massive opportunity for Albania here to secure that playoff spot at the expense of Serbia if these 2 results go their way on the night. Unlike the previous groups, these 2 games are actually being played at the same time, so you're not going to have that sort of advantage-disadvantage coming into this based on how the earlier match goes, both games being played at the same time. But a victory for Albania here and a defeat for Serbia at England would mean that Albania do get that qualification spot, that playoff spot, should I say, because they will have that 4-point gap. In terms of the Albania match against Andorra, they're coming into this unbeaten in their last 5 matches since losing to England on match day 1. For Andorra, it's just been a sorry state of affairs. Just the 1 point from them so far. And ironically, that point came away from home. They have lost every single game at their home ground so far. In terms of the team news, centre-back Garcia for Andorra is going to be suspended for this one, meaning that he had an absolute disaster last time out because he also scored an own goal, and now he's missing Andorra's final game of the group. So, real sorry state of affairs for him. As for the Albanians, no fresh concerns for them, and they won the reverse fixture against Andorra 3-0 as well. The last time they met on this ground, it was a 1-0 victory to Albania as well. So I'm just going to go straight down the middle for this fixture here, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to Albania. That does mean that Serbia need to get a result at Wembley tomorrow night if they're going to stand any chance of even getting into the playoffs in this World Cup group. And you got to be honest, there are only a very few small positives for Serbia coming into this match. The big one is, of course, that England have already qualified. So whatever happens, England have already won the group. So that does mean there is that chance that A, Thomas Tuchel could rotate his entire starting lineup to give some other players an opportunity to play matches. But also the players that play, even if it's the first team or not, may not be as fully committed, because essentially these games mean nothing other than an opportunity to prove themselves ahead of maybe getting into that World Cup squad. The bad news for Serbia coming into this one, though, is the fact that they have had some shocking results over the last couple of international breaks, losing 5-0 at home to England in the reverse fixture, which is a major, major problem for them coming into this one, and also the fact that they did lose at home to Albania as well, which is what's put them in this position in the first place. Another small positive is, of course, they did win their previous match, but again, it was against Andorra, so not really too much you can read into that one. In terms of the team news, as I've already mentioned, we really don't know what sort of lineup Thomas Tuchel is going to put out. If it was down to me, I would be playing players who want to try and get into the World Cup squad that haven't been in previous international breaks. There's no need to risk any of your major first-team players here. Whereas for Serbia, they are going to be without their main man, Aleksandar Mitrovic, who is missing this whole international break through injury. So big problems for the away side. I do think that with Serbia having to go for it, we could be looking at a very, very open game. And let's not forget, it was 5-0 to England in the reverse fixture. I do think even if England do change their starting lineup, I would expect them to come out on top. Yes, England haven't conceded a single goal in this competition so far, but if they do change the defence, I can see Serbia getting one goal the other way. I'm going to go 3-1 to England, but ultimately it should be a comfortable result for the Three Lions here. Before I leave you, let's show you all of the predictions that I've gone for. Not gone for a single draw today, because I genuinely think there is a clear favourite in every single match taking place tomorrow in this international break. But before I leave you, let's see what you guys have been saying over on the community page. And to be honest, pretty much every single one of you agrees with me, with the vast majority going for Iceland, basically everyone going for France, vast majority going for Hungary, basically everyone going for Portugal, basically everyone going for Norway, basically everyone going for Italy, vast majority going for Albania, and basically everybody going for England. So for me, I'm not too disappointed that I've not gone for any draws. The community seems to be in agreement that these are the 8 sides that are going to be winning tomorrow night. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Don't forget to head over to the community page to have your say on all the remaining fixtures in match day 9. I will post my first round of community polls for match day 10 once these fixtures have concluded tomorrow night. A final thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll see you tomorrow.